Hey man, I'm seeing a lot of people angrified with the PlayStation platform right now because it could possibly be pushed back to 2021. Yeah, we got all that information here, as well as production numbers and so much more. Let's get into it. What is going on, guys? Diller back again with yet another video talking about the PlayStation 5, Bloomberg, all the different information that's come out here recently, all in one video for you guys, and I can't wait to get into it. We've got a lot of information today, some good stuff for PS5, and we'll address some things that people are running with, like the delay. Before we get into it, maybe hit that like button if you end up enjoying this video, show a buddy or two, it really helps, and subscribe for more. Quick shout out to Open Mic, producer of this music. All the links to support the channel, sources, and people like Open Mic, all down below. Bloomberg, Sony plan limited PlayStation 5 output this year. Now first we can start with the delay of PS5. Apparently it was supposed to happen according to a headline, and of course a lot of people fell for it. Well, the Bloomberg article does address this. They do say the console is still on track for this year's launch, despite the sickness going around. And apparently C19 is actually responsible for a lot of the scheduling issues around their reveal. So at the end of the day, I suppose we will have to find out. But it is worth noting that they didn't reveal the PS4 until E3 2013. It's like people forget that. So the PS5 reveal is not behind schedule. And it's actually going to be a pretty cool little console. And almost as cool as the Wii U. I kid. Oh, gee, what the chainsaw? Where'd you get that? Look, when it comes down to it, we are having an era ushered in upon us. One never seen before by people who prefer to play on console. Just get a PC. I have one. PS5 Series X will be amazing systems for their price points, though I would be lying if I didn't say Xbox Series X will have a pretty noticeable performance delta. Oh, but fear not, as I've also been saying since the beginning, they should have a price delta there as well. Ultimately, time will tell. So let's talk about PS5 and what it is bringing this year. The Bloomberg report says the following. Sony plans to produce far fewer PS5s than its PS4 counterpart in the first year. Now I'm paraphrasing, but of course you got eyeballs, and that link is down below. Now this next part is quite interesting and going to be worthy of discussion. The Tokyo-based tech giant is limiting its initial run in part because they expect its specs to lead to a higher price. Now again, just like the last Bloomberg article, none of this is actually officially confirmed. And I get what they mean. I get what they're going for here. I get what they're trying to push, but there are a few things that I keep bringing up to frauds like Rand Thor, my little buddy Cody's would. Now, if they are right, the PS5 will be $500 right next to the Series X. And again, I happen to think that it's definitely $500. I feel like that's common sense. Xbox Series X $500, PS5 $400. And if it's not $400, I would expect C19 to have taken some kind of toll on their supply chains to that kind of extent. Now, when it comes to PS5, the last time Bloomberg reported on this console, the parts came in at around $450 according to the same sources that they are using now. So is it that they would come in at a half marker, something like $449.99? Is that $450 estimate accurate? When their CFO commented about making more PS5s to get its price under control, were they trying to drop that price down from that supposed $450 to even lower? Did they do that to release that console at $500 and make $80 per system? Something that has never even been close to done before? I don't think so. Did Mark Cerny call the price appealing because it's going to be $500? I don't know. Maybe it will be $500. Maybe it will be $449. But neither of those is nearly as appealing and nearly as round as that $399. Did Jim Ryan talk about adoption rates being higher than ever this time? Has that changed? That's a legitimate question. And perhaps the biggest reason PS5 cannot afford to come in at $500 is because its monster juggernaut of a rival is sitting at $499. Again, anybody who knows anything about RDNA 2, how many pixels or effects or frames you can get out out of that extra performance delta over the PS5, you know it's a substantial amount. Well, it's only 20%! The delta scales with that power ceiling, as I've already explained. So I do expect substantially more performance that they will turn into either ray tracing, some kind of effects, or resolution. Now, just to stop digressing like a douchebag, Sony did say they do expect to sell 5 to 6 million units in the first fiscal year. Remember, that's up to March 2021. For contrast, the PS4 sold about 7.5. Now again, I get it. I can see why people are now saying, okay, it's gonna be $450 or $500. But again, you gotta sprinkle a little bit of doubt on this because it's not confirmed. And I really do think that if it does happen this way, the plans have completely changed. Now this next part is pretty interesting. It says Sony's strategy, according to those people familiar with its plans, will be relying on PS4 models as a bridge to get new users onto PS Now, PS Plus. This system will be heavily utilized during the shortages that are coming at the launch of PS5 apparently. I wonder how many people will talk about how PS4 has, this game that's on the PS5 and not that game, and how it's all held back by Ouya. Don't worry, Sony fans, PS5 will not be held back. It's gameplay design that can be held back. That extra GPU power will scale nicely, and they never really revolutionized games in the first year or two of a generation cycle. Thus, in terms of game design, their current CPU demand should be fine, at least for now. Sony's CEO does talk about how they need to increase their renewable income through their streaming services. I wonder if we'll hear anyone talking about how that's bad now. Again, it makes perfect sense. PS Now, Xbox Game Pass, very, very pro-consumer services. Tons of games for $10 a month. It's phenomenal value. And don't worry, the developers are being paid. They are paid in advance, as anybody with a ear hole knows. Now, developers do comment on here as well, saying they think the PS5 will be $500 to $550 US. And again, we went through all of this with the Xbox One X a few years ago. Developers were saying it was going to be $700. When it comes down to it, they don't know how cheap that manufacturing process is or how they did it in the first place. So maybe they're right, maybe they're not. So Sony are either making one of the biggest mistakes they've made in a very long time by putting the PS5 neck and neck with the Series X at $500. Keep in mind, Microsoft do have a $300 lower end Xbox coming, or they could do what they need to do and take maybe a slight loss or break even on the system at $400. Again, that $450 figure from Bloomberg not confirmed. Keep in mind the CFO's comments about getting the price down because their target is less than $450. But again, all that could have changed. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for joining me for yet another video. You guys are awesome. You rock. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Maybe show a buddy or 10 million. And of course, subscribe. Hit that bell icon for more. And there are a ton of links down in the description that you guys can click on and check all that stuff out. Shout out to the patrons, the channel members, and of course, the source is there as well. No matter what, guys, both systems are going to be awesome. And if one comes in at the same price as the other, in my opinion, that's an L. In anyone's opinion that knows what two RDNA 2 T-flops are in terms of performance, pixels, and effects, anybody who knows what kind of crazy delta that is, if you come in at the same price, you're really you're blowing your own toes off with a 357 Magnum. I don't know how else to say it. So again, let me know your thoughts. I'm Dealer. I'm out.